Grasslands premium beef, as nature intended, is produced from free-range cattle that have been raised on natural pastures, where they're able to roam and graze in a stress-free environment for their entire lives. All Grasslands premium beef is free of antibiotics and artificial hormones. Grasslands premium beef is underpinned by the MSA grading system to guarantee tender, juicy beef. What I've got here is a Scotch Fillet, otherwise known as a cube roll. It's located high up on the spine. Scotch Fillet has this lovely sort of puck of fat in the middle. Now, the bit of fat there is lovely. You can, as it cooks off, it renders down and cooks into the beef, and it adds a really, really rich flavour. Now, what I'm going to do, I've got the whole cube roll here, so I'm just going to cut off a steak just under 1 inch, I suppose. Now, I'm not going to trim any of this fat off. I'm going to leave all that there because basically it's going to add a lot of flavour. Going to give it a little bit of a glaze with some oil there, but not too much oil because you don't want to add in too much fat to this dish. Now, a little bit of salt and pepper. It's all about the sizzle. If you're putting a steak in a pan and it's not sizzling like that when you hit it in there, then your pan or your surface isn't hot enough, and what you're going to do is boil your steak. You're not going to get that lovely crispness on the outside, and you're not going to get that toasty caramelisation of the flavour. Now, a little bit more seasoning on the other side there. While we sear that bad boy off, keep it moving around, keep the heat pretty fierce. I'm going to use half brown and half red onion, or a Spanish onion. Now the reason being is the red onions are quite sweet and not as oniony. They don't have as much of the onion vapour about them. Just going to slice those that way quite fine. And the same with the red onion there. Through we go. Then we're going to turn this lovely Scotch fillet over. And you can see there we've got a really nice level of caramelisation on that side. So what we're going to do now is we're going to piggyback this pan a bit with these onions so they can swim around in there with the steak and start to caramelise down. High in fructose onions, which is a natural sugar, so they'll get quite a nice sweetness about them. While that cooks away there, I'm just going to add some garlic as well. I've just got a little clove of garlic there. I'll just peel that back and dice it up quite finely. Pop him in there as well. And I've also got some continental parsley, which will chiffonade up and use as a garnish through the sauce in a minute, just to make it really nice and crisp. Pull that steak off and give it a rest. As you can see, I've got really nice colour both sides. As you can see, my onions there, I've got some lovely colour on them also. I'm just going to put a little knob of butter in there at this stage too, just to give it a bit more action. Now, steak this size, you're probably best to rest it off for about 5 minutes will be best. So the Scotch takes about 3 minutes on either side to cook, about 5 minutes for the onion pan sauce, and in about 10 minutes you've got a restaurant quality dish you can have at home. That is just beautiful. At this point we want to deglaze the pan. Now when we say deglaze the pan, we're adding moisture to the pan to lift up the other flavours that are in the pan. Now I've got a bit of balsamic vinegar there, a little bit of beef stock, and that'll suck up all the onion, garlic, steaky sort of flavours. Whack that Scotch fillet in there just to heat it through a bit. Probably about a minute on each side will be enough for him. And then when we serve that, just going to serve that steak like that. Now with our onion sauce here, onion pan juices, just going to drop that bit of chiffonade parsley in at the end. Chiffonade's very finely sliced. Chiffonade actually French for angel's wings, so it's to be nice and fine so those angels can fly. Now, I'm going to do what we call beurre meunier here, which just means to thicken and enrich with some butter. Now you can see I've just put a little knob of butter in there, and as I stir that through, that sauce really starts to shine and it just thickens off. Now this is a great way to make a fancy pants restaurant dish at home in very little time, with very little expense, and really impress your family or friends. Whack that over the top. Good heap of that onion jus. Clean that up, and hey presto, beautiful.